Alright guys, I'm here with you today, the Feral Bachelor. If you've not seen me before, then you realize that you aren't seeing me right now. Haha. Anyway, I'm checking out this video today. It seems to have gone pretty darn viral. It's by this female lady, podcaster, who calls herself Shoe on Head. Evidently she's been around a while. And I had never heard of her until this thing popped up. This one that she's talking about, the epidemic of men, epidemic of male losers.
Welcome back to the Shoe on Head channel. If it is your first time here, run. I am Shoe on Head, and on this channel I like to cover cultural issues, mostly surrounding men's issues. It's what I've been doing for over a decade, and frankly, I'm exhausted.
Alright, she's calling her video the male loser epidemic. So that obviously got my attention, and it appears to have gotten the attention of a lot of other folks because it is blowing up online. So let me see if we can run through this thing today.
One of the main men's issues I have been covering in great detail lately has been the male loneliness epidemic. Yeah, but turns out I was wrong. We don't have a male loneliness epidemic. We have a male loser epidemic. It's not a male loneliness epidemic. No, it's a male mediocrity epidemic. It's a male loser epidemic.
The male loser epidemic has gotten so bad that it's honestly so pathetic at this point.
Well, there you go. She's calling us losers. The male loser epidemic. And I say us because I am a guy. You know. That's as far as I'm going to go to prove it to you. But, yeah, I lump us all together. Like folks tend to do. And that's what we're looking at. So, yeah, it's pretty harsh to start out, but it got my attention, so here we go.
With all these issues men are facing, they seem to be moving to the right and the Republicans more, since the left and Democrats have essentially just become the young men eat and die movement. Months ago, I covered how the Democratic Party was losing young men, and I predicted Kamala Harris would lose in part because of young men overwhelmingly voting for Trump, and I was correct.
Yeah, now this video is not about putting down the lady that's doing this thing. She does a great job, evidently. Just because I haven't heard of her, had not previously heard of her, it's not a bad thing with her. It just shows how, far behind I am. But that's what we got right now. So she is really good at production and keeping it interesting and moving things along. She's got 10 years of experience. I've already heard that in her introduction. So paint me impressed for that.
Well, now the Democrats have unveiled their final solution to the right-wing male loser epidemic. Democrats spending millions to learn how to speak to American men and win back the working class. Democrats have blown millions of dollars on efforts to appeal to American men who turned to President Donald Trump in droves on Election Day in hopes of winning back the working class. Democrats have spent $20 million on their efforts, with donors and strategists holing up in luxury hotel rooms, brainstorming how to convince working class men to return to the party. Ah yes, nothing more relatable to working class men than luxury hotel rooms. Great job, guys. The plan? Codename SAM, or Speaking with American Men, a strategic plan, promises to use the funds to study the syntax, language, and content that gains attention and virality in these spaces. The effort also recommends Democrats buy advertisement in video games, among other things. The Democratic Party is treating young men like exotic animals they're studying.
Shoe on Head has a point about the Democrats going overboard, spending $20 million. And I bet that was just the first price. I don't bet that's the end of it. Not the way these people throw money around. But $20 million instead of just talking to men. I mean, the information's out there. Men are out there. Why are you putting money into trying to figure out how to talk to men? Just go out and freaking talk to men. Hey, you know what? A lot of men will open up. They'll talk to you. Open up your website. Open up your website to comments. That could be dangerous to a point. But if you want to get the real information, the real nitty-gritty, let the men in and the talk will begin.
Listen, Democrats, instead of spending $20 million to do that stupid maybe you should, I don't know, actually listen to men. I listen to men for free all the time. All I have to do is read my comment section. Let's see here. Shoe on Head is a perfect example of why we need to repeal the 19th. Greetings from Albania. I hate women so much it's unreal. Ooh, shoo, mommy, milkies, 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 mommy, mommy, mommy. One time I got my penis stuck in a soda bottle. Okay, on second thought, maybe my comment section is not the best source.
Since Trump scored big with young male voters last election, Democrats are spending $20 million to learn how to speak their language. I think it's a waste of money. Maybe these guys should spend their money on teaching men to not be such sexists. Maybe that's it.
But the stats don't bear that out now. Look at what young women have to choose from. The pickings are slim. Yes, we might have a feminism problem in America, but it's the feminization of men.
All right, so we've got the stay-at-home sons. Yeah, well, that's definitely different. That's something that I've talked about previously with many of my friends and family members. The fact that children today, kids, I should say, they aren't getting up and leaving the nest. They aren't going out and doing things. They're not even excited to get their driver's license. When me and my friends were that age, we couldn't wait to get our driver's license. We couldn't wait to get out of the house and have our own lives, have our own job, have our own money, have our own troubles, because that was a huge thing in life. We wanted some independence. After being with mom and daddy all those years, we wanted to get out and go. Today, children don't have that same drive. They've been brought up with their faces in these tiny screens, and their whole world is in there. They haven't experienced a real world, the playing outside, the falling off the bicycle, skinning your knees, breaking your collarbone, falling out of a tree. It's just stuff it's life that needs to be experienced. All right, let's keep going.
There are a lot of young women out there that want to get married. They want to have kids. They want to have stable families. But there are a lot of young men out there who want to live in mama's basement and order DoorDash.
Oh no. The very night I was sitting on my couch writing the script to my video about how the Democrats are spending $20 million to relate to young men, this came on my TV on Fox News. A Tommy Lahren and Laura Ingraham segment about stay-at-home sons, men who still live at home. Literally minutes after this aired, it went absolutely viral on Twitter for not good reasons. So we are going to unpack this piece by piece. Because even though everyone was mocking it and making fun of it, as far as I saw, nobody was really dissecting it and breaking down exactly why she was so egregiously wrong. So come join me in debunking the male loser epidemic. Because who else better equipped to talk about men's issues than two stupid blonde bimbos? Hold on one second. 3 stupid blonde bimbos. Sorry. I felt left out. All right, let's go. Wait. I need my gamer fuel. See? I do drink it. That one's for you, Tectone.
It's a major problem. And you know, Speaker Johnson has been talking about those maybe deadbeat folks that are on Medicaid, and maybe some of those folks are the stay-at-home sons. We don't know. But I'll tell you this, leave it to Gen Z to rebrand laziness and social awkwardness as something cutesy, like a stay-at-home son.
The first time I heard that term, stay-at-home son, was in one of the Hangover movies. It might have been the first one. Yeah, that was a trip. But it made sense. I mean, you try to put a name on something that people will make fun of, and there you go, stay-at-home son.
But Laura, I gotta tell you, this is also a big problem when it comes to, I think, declining birth rates, people not getting married and having children. You know, that's a big problem. They blame it on women. Well, look at what young women have to choose from. The pickings are slim. Yes, we might have a feminism problem in America, but it's the feminization of men.
Men just want to stay soft, live in their parents' basements, and order DoorDash. Well, you know what? Lottie-dottie. Doesn't everybody want that? I mean, we didn't have DoorDash, and we didn't have options living in basements or staying when we were kids. We had to get out and go, get out and go, get out and job, get out and do something. Whoop, whoop, work. Yeah, had to work. There's not that drive today. There's not that push. The parents aren't pushing them out. and it's just not happening. There's no motivation, there's no drive. I guess when you've seen as much online pornography as young people see today, there's not anything exciting out there. When I was a kid growing up, we didn't have pornography channels. We certainly didn't have the internet, didn't know what a computer was. And if you got a hold of anything, it was a magazine that you found somewhere. And it was nice. Believe me, it had some nice things, but it doesn't compare to what they have today. So kids today, young men today, probably have a little bit too much in the spank bank and up there in that memory that they just can't relate to real life. Their real life is a letdown. Talking to a real girl is a letdown after you watch all these actors on TV or on the tiny screen. You know what I mean?
There are a lot of young women out there that want to get married. They want to have kids. They want to have stable families. But there are a lot of young men out there who want to live in mama's basement and order DoorDash. And that's why we have declining birth rates and a lot of other problems in society. It's time to go out, get a job, breathe the fresh air, meet people in real life. Let's just get back to basics.
And this Toni Lauren, she's definitely defending women. She's saying the women are not part of the problem. Not part of the problem at all. The entire problem is the boys, the men, because they are giving the women nothing to work with. That's why women are choosing to remain single. That's why women are not dating men. That's why women are going out and doing their own things and staying single and not having children because of men. Because the men are not worthy. That's what I'm hearing from what she's saying. What do y'all think?
So first of all, this stay-at-home son thing is not a real thing. It was a random throwaway, self-deprecating joke some contestant on Jeopardy said. One f***ing guy. Because I guess there's nothing else important going on that they could cover on the news. They literally made this into a fake phenomena so they can on young men. Meanwhile, Democrats are spending millions of dollars trying to win back young men. Is the amount of young men living home with their parents increasing? Yes. Is it because they're lazy bums and just want to order DoorDash all day? No.
Well, she talks about having a feminine problem in the country, and that can go a lot of different ways. With feminist rights coming out, doesn't mean they have to be anti-man, anti-male, but that's the way it's evolved. And she also, I have to give her on that point of having a overly feminized young men. I mean, boys and young men are way over feminized. I don't know what it is. People love to copy, people do things, but the amount of kids, the amount of young boys that want to be girls or want to live as girls, or dress as girls, and pretend to be girls is incredible. I don't know where these numbers are coming from. I think it has something to do with our cultural proclivity to want to copy, reproduce. Don't be original. Don't do your own thing. Don't get out there and be yourself. Copy. Do what everybody else is doing. If everybody else is going to be bisexual or transsexual, cross-dressing, boom. Hey, I'm going to join in too. I don't want to be left alone. I don't want to be on the sidelines. I want to be right up in there in the mix with whatever the heck's going on. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter what it is. Putting tattoos on your face, tattoos on your neck, holes in your ears to stretch your ears out. That's not going to grow back. That's not going to shrink. You're going to be having those big ear holes for the rest of your life. And it's only going to get worse. You're going to be snagging them all kinds of crap. Can you imagine that? Goodness gracious. When you're holding your little baby on your shoulder, that baby's going to get caught up in there. They're going to think it's some kind of teething ring. They're going to yank on it. Oh, boy. I just see all kinds of mess happening. But then all the metal they're putting in their eyebrows and their nose and their tongue. I like eating too much. I'm not going to mess with my tongue. Nothing's going through the tongue. It all goes across the tongue. But anyway, let's get back to this video.
There are a lot of young men out there who want to live in mama's basement and order DoorDash. And that's why we have declining birth rates. It's time to go out, get a job, breathe the fresh air.
Have either of you tried applying for a job as a young man recently? Or tried buying a house on the salary of one of these young men? Have you experienced the dating market, been on the dating sites as a young man? No? Interesting, okay. Just wondering. Listen, I know the average age of a Fox News viewer is like 70 nowadays and you need to pander to them, but Tommy, you were like 2 years younger than me.
Yeah, she does slip up when Lauren makes the comment about men are becoming lazy and they're not succeeding and they're not trying because they're becoming more feminized. Because, oops, there you go. You're saying that that's a natural way that women are behaving or do behave, and that now men are copying it. Men are becoming less manly and more womanized. So more lazy, more layabout, more soft, wanting someone to take care of them. Yeah, what a dream. Yeah, you got this thing about people aspiring to have families. There are a lot of women out there that want to have families. That may be true. That may be true. But you got a lot more young girls that are not thinking about having children. And it's not just that they're not thinking about having children yet. They've been brought up in school thinking that, they've been taught here in the United States that America is evil. America is the worst plight on the planet. And that is also the climate change. That we are not going to be able to live our entire lives because of disastrous climate change that's coming. And so why would you bring children into this? And so it's all about YOLO. You know, you only live once. Live for the day. Make every day, treat every day like it's your last. Well, that's a bad habit because then you never plan for the future. You're not building, you're not saving, you're not improving yourself, and you're not getting ready for tomorrow, and you're not going to make a better tomorrow. But on the family thing, it's not a good idea to start a family too young. That goes for men and for women. But today, it's understandable that what they've been taught, that women are less inclined, less excited to jump in there and start families and when they're in their 20 to 25-year-old range.
I just don't understand, like, why don't boomers and spiritual boomers like Tommy Lauren see people struggling and go, wow, I wish I could fix this. They should have it better than I had it. And you wonder why so many millennials and zoomers don't want kids. I want to make the world a better place for my children. I want to make the world a better place for my children. Ugh. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, you spoiled brat. Children. Not happening.
Well, look at what young women have to choose from. The pickings are slim. Yes, we might have a feminism problem in America, but it's the feminization of men.
Young men are becoming lazy because they're becoming feminized. So they're becoming lazy because they act more like women? What did she mean by this, chat? I know there's like a decrease in testosterone or something happening, but men are moving right-wing all over the world. Does that correlate with the feminization? Or, I mean, there are suspiciously a lot of far-right femboys, so maybe. But here's the thing, Tammy. There is absolutely no evidence that young women want to start families more than young men. None. In fact, all the data says the exact opposite. According to Pew Research, 64% of women younger than 50 say they just don't want to have children. No reason, they just don't want them. Versus 50% of men who say the same. Another study by Archbridge Institute shows the same. 63% of women without children said they have no desire to have a child, while only 50% of men said the same. For men, the most commonly cited factor was personal finance, but among women, the strongest reason not to have a child was their desire to maintain their personal independence. Basically, they don't want to give up their brunch and mimosas. They've been ass-blasted with propaganda their whole lives, telling them their lives will be ruined, their bodies will be ruined, they'll never have fun again, they'll be miserable forever if they have children. And as someone who has had a children, best decision I've ever made. 10/10, highly recommend, would do it again. But yes, this idea that men are the ones primarily responsible for the low birth rates is laughable. We're laughing over here. But honestly, it's not really women or men's fault. There are a lot of factors that play into this. But Tommy, I really gotta ask, is it men or is it you?
This is going to be the summer of canceling boys. All of my friends are attractive. All of my friends are successful. All of my friends have something going on. Almost every single one of them have an issue with men. But if all of these women, including myself, are having issues, then I have to think it might not be us. It might be you. It is not just the guys in Los Angeles, Nashville, Dallas, and they're not any better in the Midwest. Quite frankly, I think they're trash all over this country.
My friends are successful. Men don't give a shit about that. They'd marry a Walmart cashier if she was nice to them.
I think men between the ages of 20 and 30 are not ready, in most cases, for marriage, are usually not ready to be husbands and fathers.
That's a cultural issue. So, look,
No, I would actually, back to your point,
Yeah.
I think it's a biological thing.
All right, well, Lauren says that most men between the ages of 20 and 30 are not prepared. They're not ready to be husbands and fathers. Well, I would agree with that. I got married, I think, when I was 25, 24. Might have been 24, just before 25. And I wasn't ready. I didn't know that at that time. I didn't know any better. But it's a lot of responsibility. And yeah, I don't think young people should rush into it. I don't think they should be encouraged to be pushed into it. But let's go.
So let me get this straight. Men are all trash and won't commit and won't leave mommy's basement, and they're destroying the birth rates. But also young men are biologically incapable of commitment and being parents. What? But wait, there's more! She also believes women don't have to bring anything to the table.
And as a woman, I want a strong man who is a protector and a provider that will go to war if need be, that will protect me, protect my family, make money. But I don't think a man needs to get something out of it to be a manly man, a protector and a provider. If you think you need to get something out of it, I quite frankly don't consider you a real man.
All right, now this is getting ridiculous where Lauren is saying that she doesn't believe that men need to get anything. They don't need to have any positive benefits from getting into a relationship, into a marriage, and supporting a family. That the women don't need to bring anything, deliver anything. They're no value to the men. The men should be men. That's always the thing. You got to be a man and man up and do it. They want you to just come in there, get your education, make your money, and then spend your money on supporting a woman or two and then raising kids. And that's it. You are a machine. You are a robot. You are meant to provide. That's why you are a provider. Beep, boop, boop, boop. Yeah, this is just... Can't you just put in fresh batteries or recharge and just keep going? Why do you have to get emotional? Why do you have to get feelings into it? Why do you think about it? What do you mean you want something back? You want a reciprocal relationship. What? You're not a real man. You're not a real man. You should be in your parents' basement ordering DoorDash. Wow. Yeah, a man doesn't need to get anything out of it. He should be a manly man, and he should provide and work hard, bring home the money, deliver it to the house, make sure everything's taken care of, then run off to war if necessary or unnecessary, and just do it. Do it because that's what you're told you're supposed to do. Do it because some random woman is telling you that's what you're supposed to do. What is that about? You know, if you're not happy with what guys are doing now, then you need to improve things. You need to talk, have a conversation. This is a one-sided thing. She's preaching, and she's not preaching things that people want to hear. You know, when you're delivering some information, as you can tell from what I've already said, I do believe that men, young boys today, have issues. They have different challenges. They have different issues that were not around when I was growing up. I know that. I admit that. But there's also a lot of things they're doing that I would never have dreamed of, and still don't. But they are... If you want these boys to man up, then you need to dress it up and make it look attractive. Make it look manly, something they want to do. The process of trying to shame someone into doing something is not going to work. If you shame a man into getting married, shame a man to having kids, shame a man into working and giving his entire paycheck over to a woman that believes that because she's told that she doesn't have to deliver anything, she doesn't have to give anything, she doesn't have to provide any value to the relationship, she's just the wife, the homemaker, the mother. Then what you're doing, you're setting up both genders for failure. And no. Let's keep going.
Never before in history have women demanded so much and offered so little.
All right, that's a quote that I really like, and got to give it to her for that. Shoe on head. That never before have women demanded so much and offered so little. And I tell you, I'm a single guy. You can tell just by looking at me, I'm sure, and listening to me. But I do talk to a lot of girls. I'm not afraid. I'm not shy. No matter how many of them I scare away, I keep coming back. I keep talking to them. But the quality of the girls today is something. I mean, they have no shame. They have no shame straight up front. They want money. Money to even have a conversation. Money to talk. And if you ask, well, why do I have to pay to talk to you? Why do I have to give you money just to have a conversation? Or to continue a conversation we've started? Obviously, there's no interest on her part. The only interest is what you may have in your wallet. She's trying to figure that out because that's the last draw. That's the last hook that's going to keep her with you, is if you expose something happening in your wallet. Because whatever she's got in front of her, all this, if you can believe it, all this ain't enough for her.
And honestly, why the would a man leave home, leave his mother's cooking, for a woman who probably can't cook? Not me, though. Personally, I can cook amazing homemade meals. I'll have you know I am a great trad wife.
Bone apple teeth.
Now, unfortunately, Tommy Lauren wasn't the only one pushing this stupid, lazy young men go get a job bullshit. Mike Johnson did it, referencing 29-year-old men playing video games all day. Steve Scalise did it with 35-year-old men playing video games all day. And just the other night, I saw this on my TV. Again.
A Wall Street Journal headline got our attention. The new dream job for young men, stay-at-home son. It's a phrase that's taken off since 27-year-old Brendan Leo won $59,000 on Jeopardy. And he has a master's degree in political science, but he's unemployed. Grow up, get a job, get a wife, build a family.
Just get a wife, bro. Just get a job, bro.
Oh, get a job? Yeah. Just get a job? Why don't I strap on my job helmet and squeeze down into a job cannon and fire off into Jobland, where jobs grow on jobbies?
The term welfare queen must have fell out of fashion with Republicans, because it seems even they know the approved safe demographic to go after now. Because it's very obvious what demographic they are talking about when they say young men in their basements playing video games. The fact is, a lot of American jobs held by men are being lost to automation, offshoring, and yes, cheap foreign labor. Companies and billionaires would rather have cheap labor that they can essentially abuse, not pay fair wages to, just good little worker drones who won't unionize, rather than hire American workers for a living wage. The cheaper the labor they hire, the more money they make. I remember when Bernie Sanders called open borders a Koch brothers conspiracy.
Open borders?
Open
borders. That's a Koch brothers proposal, which says essentially there is no United States.
But it would make a lot of the
global
global poor richer, wouldn't it?
And it'd make everybody in America poor. Then you're doing away with the concept of a nation state.
Where'd that guy go? A lot of these jobs being taken are jobs traditionally held by men, like construction and factory jobs, manual labor work. But it's not just manual labor jobs, it's also the tech industry and business industry, which are careers also mainly held by men. There are many examples of this, such as Microsoft recently cutting thousands of American workers while requesting 14,000 more H-1B workers this year. Some of those job positions include data scientists, which are 70% men, software developers, which are 80% men, and electronic engineers, which are 90% men, and many more like that. Another example of this was Tesla, where roughly 15,000 American employees were fired in April 2024, and many were replaced with H-1B visa holders. But it's not just the brown people taking your jobs, it's the women too. Many of the dying industries are male-dominated, while many of the growing industries are female-dominated, and stigma around these jobs being woman jobs usually stops men from working them. Women are overwhelmingly entering and excelling in college and the workforce, and they're more flexible about job position and pay, while young men usually hold out for higher-paying, higher-position jobs that will make them the breadwinner. Because you see, despite the world progressing and the role of women changing, the role of men has not changed. Every woman is a feminist until the dinner bill comes.
All right, well, that's another point, that with the rise in feminine masculinity, as far as feminism, with women coming out of the homes, going to schools, getting jobs, getting good-paying jobs, and getting high-powered jobs, and moving up, which is fine. I've never had a problem with women having opportunity, with women having access to education, and certainly, if they're doing the job, they should get paid for the job. Certainly. Now, if things do flip around and women become the high earners, then the men become the second tier. I don't know if that's the right word, but it can be for people who are struggling with traditionalism. Yeah, it can be challenging to have a woman that's earning more money than you, a woman that's the provider. I really don't think there's anything wrong with it. I've never experienced it. I never have. I've mostly dated broke chicks. I mean, broke. And if I loaned the money, which, you know, I did, I always do, it doesn't come back. It does not come back. So, not in money and not in anything else. They just want more. But yeah, that's my experience, and we'll get into more of that later at another time. But if women are getting the jobs, women are being the bosses, women are bringing home the bacon, you know what I mean? Maybe use another term for that. Women are bringing home the goods. Then it could be challenging for some men. But it's not a bad thing. It's different. It doesn't reduce your masculinity. Your masculinity is only reduced by the way you react to it. I mean, I've only dated one girl that earned more money than me. And I think she made a lot more than me. I don't know exact numbers because we didn't talk about that. But she was in a very high position in a very big company. And she had money. I paid for the dates. I think she got me some gifts. She probably chipped in. Well, she did things to make it worth it to me. But, yeah, as far as money goes, I think she had me beat in the income department. But we didn't focus on that. We just enjoyed the time we had together. Brief as it was.
But what's crazy is women might be the ones paying that dinner bill soon. A study from the UK found women aged 22 to 29 earned about 1,000 more annually than men, completely reversing the traditional gender pay gap for this age group. In the US, a 2022 Pew Research Center analysis showed that women under 30 out-earned men in many metropolitan areas, with median earnings at or above 100% of men's, in cities like New York and Washington, D.C. That may not sound like a lot of money now, but it's a growing trend that has never been seen before. It's so bad that it's really starting to affect the dating world. American women have never been this resigned to staying single. They are responding to major demographic shifts, including huge and growing gender gaps in economic and educational attainment, political affiliation, and beliefs about what family should look like. More women than men are attending college, buying houses, and focusing on their friendships and careers over dating and marriage. The challenges of finding a romantic partner have been made more complicated by a growing divide in education and career prospects between men and women. In 2024, 40% of American women ages 25 to 34 had a bachelor's degree, according to Pew, compared to 37% of men. A bachelor's degree increases net lifetime earnings by an estimated $1 million. Women are doing comparatively well when it comes to education in their early years in the labor force, and men are doing comparatively badly. Men's economic struggles seem to be having the biggest effect on women without a college degree, whose marriage rates by 45 have plummeted to 52% for those born between 1930 and 1980, according to research by Cornell University. Young men without a degree are struggling so much as a group that there simply aren't enough with steady jobs and earnings for non-college women to date.
Yeah, that's the thing. This big uproar they make over who's going to pay for dates. Who's going to pay for dinner? That the guy should always pay. The guy should always pay. I'm accustomed to paying as a guy. I think if a guy invites a girl out, that he should expect to pay because he's the inviter. But getting into an argument over this, as a guy, putting the bill in the girl's face and saying, "Here's your half," that's really low. That's cheesy. It's cringy. Maybe cringy is the word the kids use now. But I don't have any problem at all with a girl taking me out. I mean, I'd actually like that. I think I've had it, but it's a small number. I know one time I was dating this girl, and we'd been dating a little bit, and I wanted to kind of test her. So I took her to a place to eat, and I pulled out coupons. It caught her attention real quick. I watched her. She went along with it. And then we talked about it later and had a laugh. It was not a deal breaker. It was a test on my part. And I've done some of these tests before that wound up backfiring. But this one worked out all right. I was glad I did it, and she thought it was funny when we talked about it later.
Men are poor, women most affected. Modern women are no longer tied to their gender role. Birth control has freed them from the prison that is their biology, and they are making their own money, sometimes more than men. They can have it all, they can do anything, they can be anything. While at the same time, men are still expected to be the provider. And more importantly, many men still want to be the provider, but they can't. And women, though strong and independent, still want men to be the provider.
And as a woman, I want a strong man who is a protector and a provider that will go to war if need be, that will protect me, protect my family, make money.
Basically, men are like, we're worried we're not making enough money. And women are like, we're worried men are not making enough money.
And I am no longer in the job market. I'm no longer a member of the workforce. I am one of the retired elites, active retiree. So I got stuff going on, but I don't know what it's like out there now. I know rents are high. I know expenses are high. I know vehicles are ridiculously high, even used vehicles. Whew. So it is different. To people to say that they can't afford to move out of the parents' house, I don't know. Maybe I need to sit down and do a little test and take some average wages and just go through you can do everything sitting right at home. Look at what costs are for groceries, rent, vehicle cost, maintenance, fuel. I might do that. I haven't yet, so I'm admitting it. And see, could a starter salary, could a starter job, traditional starter job, starter salary, sustain a single young person moving out of their parents' house and living on their own? Of course, there are always options like roommates. That's not a bad thing. It's not always a wonderful thing, but it's doable. And it can make it affordable. And it also gives you someone, if neither one of you have any experience with paying bills and managing a home, then you learn these things together. So, anyway, let's carry on.
The fact is, hard work no longer guarantees success, and the will to work is tied to the fruits of your labor. And young men are fed up today because 90% of that fruit is rotten. Now, is there some truth to modern young people being lazy? Sure, I guess. Every generation had lazy people. And we do basically live in late-stage mouse utopia, after all. Young people today are faced with two options: revolution or escapism. And a lot of them are choosing escapism. Many have basically given up, but it's not like they didn't try. They tried, and they found out the juice just isn't worth the squeeze, whether it's college, dating, or the job market. And in a way, many young men are kind of choosing revolution. The never-before-seen large shift rightward in young men is a small revolution in a way. They're saying, this isn't working for me, this sucks, I hate this, I want something different. This is also manifesting on the Democrat side in general. The young men that are still voting left are voting further left. You saw this recently in New York City, where Zohran Mamdani, a self-proclaimed Democratic socialist, won the Democratic primary. Young men are tired of the establishment, left and right. They're tired of the system, and they want to burn it down and start again. They want something that works for them, because this is not working for them.
If you wake up one morning and you find yourself in a society where 23-year-olds with 4-year college degrees and like initiative who aren't smoking weed every day, if they can't make enough to buy a car, much less a home, much less get married, much less have children, then why should you be surprised when half of them say they prefer socialism?
Huh. Fox News should hire that guy. There is an entire generation of fighting-aged men who are enraged and feel like they have nothing to live for. You should probably start caring. When they saw this airing on Fox News, they saw an angry woman nagging in their faces about how everything wrong in the world is their fault. An all too familiar thing they have been hearing for far too long. But unfortunately for Democrats, nobody under the age of 60 watches Fox News, so this is not really going to have an effect on young men whatsoever. So keep that $20 million. You might still need it.
Yes, that's true. It doesn't do boys any good. There's no positive outcome going to come from repeatedly women telling them that they are inferior, that they are not manly, that they are not worthy. With the amount of information and the bombarding of internet and television, media, in multiple different forms today, that people are growing up with different images, different ideas. And when you are repeatedly telling them that masculinity is bad, it's not surprising that boys are wanting to move away from masculinity. Why do I want to be a man if men are so bad? If men are so freaking evil, then why do I want to be a man? So you have to consider what these people have been taught. And if you're teaching them something that is changing the way that what you're teaching and preaching is leading to an outcome that you do not want, then you've got to change what you're teaching and preaching. You need to instruct, uplift, guide, give a dog a bone, so to speak. Put some positive reinforcement out there. Admonish them to do better. Admonish them to be better. Show them successful people. Tell them, encourage them that they too can be successful in whatever it is they try to do. But putting them down, using the shame tactic to think that's going to make them man up, you're not going to get the man you want. If you got to shame a man into acting like a man, he's not a man. And if you're trying to build a guy like that, like you build a bear, if you want to build a guy like that, then you are not going to be happy with the product you've constructed. All right, guys, we come to the end of the video, and fortunate for you, the end of my rantings. But you know what? I want to know what you think. I want your feedback on the video. I want your feedback on Tony Lauren. I want your feedback on that cutie shoe on head. And I want your feedback on my input, please. Obviously, I'm hoping you would like my points of view, but I'm willing to review comments for people who don't like them. And guys, and if there are any gals in the audience, that's as well. Let me know. I'm opening it up to discussion. I do not have a closed mind. I don't want to have a closed mind. I appreciate constructive feedback, and I hope that if you are capable of communicating a logical point, no matter how different it is from what I'm saying, I do hope that I will be capable of interpreting it, understanding it, incorporating it. Hey, you never know, you might change my mind. And thanks for stopping by to see the Feral Bachelor. We'll see you again real soon. Ciao.